Tonight on the South Today, the Prime Minister was forced to take a back entrance into a school she was opening by protesters in Christchurch today. Dunedin firefighters are joining their colleagues around the country taking industrial action. And Ngāi Tahu fashion designer Amber Bridgman is taking her Indigenous fashion to the world. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Hannah Wilkins. Rowdy protesters tried gate crashing part of the Prime Minister's visit to Christchurch this morning as she officially opened a new high school. Jacinda Ardern was a special guest at the new Te Aratai College campus, formerly the site of the old Linwood High School.
Around 70 protesters gathered outside a new high school in Christchurch first thing this morning, awaiting the arrival of Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern. The protest was organised by the Freedom and Rights Coalition, sharing their plans for an emergency protest one on social media last night. Police also assembled outside and around the brand new Te Aratai College. Protesters waved flags and signs, and some cars driving by tooted in support. However, the Prime Minister was ushered in via a back door, away from the protesters and most of the media. Jacinda Ardern was able to take part in the official opening without any interruption, and said the group outside had no effect on the event.
You know, it would be a shame to let it detract from, for instance, what was otherwise a really lovely day with a group of school students excited about the reopening of their brand new school, and to be honest, there was very little effect of the protest on that event.
The new Te Aratai College campus replaces the former Linwood High School, which was demolished following the 2011 earthquakes. Then students were relocated to the former Avonside Girls High School site in mid-2019, while work continued on their totally new school. Ardern was swamped by requests from students for selfies and autographs following the formal function. In Christchurch, the South Today.
Changes are happening in New Zealand's real estate market, but very slowly. Latest figures reveal house sales are taking longer to complete, properties are staying on the market for longer, and the upward pressure on prices are easing in many areas. The Real Estate Institute's latest residential sales data showed that median house prices have decreased by 4% since April. Median prices in Dunedin have eased, with the region seeing a 0.9% increase year on year. However, Wanaka bucked the national trend, with the median house price climbing by more than 74% compared to a year ago. Across Otago, the seasonally adjusted median price is up by 11.5%, although it's taking longer to sell properties. Firefighters and associated workers across the country are underway with industrial action this week against Fire and Emergency New Zealand. However, the senior station officer at Dunedin Central insists services to the public won't be affected while they campaign for better pay and safer working conditions.
Support your firefighters. That's a call from crews at Dunedin Central Station who've joined their colleagues across the country taking industrial action against Fire and Emergency New Zealand. They're fighting for improved wages and working conditions, but Senior Station Officer Mark Leonard is assuring the public their actions won't affect the responses to fires and emergencies, and so far only involves not doing paperwork.
We want people to know that at the moment our industrial action has no impact on our responding to medical emergencies or fires, car accidents, so we're going to carry on as normal.
Leonard says firefighters starting out are paid close to the minimum wage, while top management at FENZ receive far more than their counterparts in Australia.
We are 40% behind our equivalent ranks in Australia, and our upper management, some of them are between 20 and 40% ahead of their equivalent ranks in Australia. So there's a disparity between the lowest paid and the highest paid within FENZ.
It's a tough job, and Leonard says in recent years firefighters have been called to 96% of all life-threatening medical emergencies. Those regular call-outs to what at times can be very gruesome and distressing injuries and deaths is taking its toll on even the most hardened crews.
I talk to people who've been in the job as long as I have, and they just say, I'm sick and tired, I don't want to ever go to another CPR. I don't want to go to another car accident. And we need to get better medical and mental welfare checks for our firefighters, and that's one of our big claims.
The industrial action by the New Zealand Professional Firefighters Union members is set to continue until the end of the month, with a day of mediation with FENZ scheduled for Thursday. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Dunedin Hospital has temporarily suspended visits again to one ward after COVID-19 and influenza exposure events involving patients and staff. The Southern District Health Board advised of the immediate suspension in General Ward 8 this afternoon. The DHB says all necessary steps are being taken to ensure the events are contained, including closely monitoring patients for signs and symptoms. In a statement, it said, "Our priority is patient safety. We apologise for the inconvenience to patients on Ward 8 and their families." The Health Board acknowledged this is distressing for both sides, with limited visits still possible on compassionate grounds. A Dunedin-based fashion designer who weaves a strong Maori focus into her clothing line is taking her kahuwai brand to London. She's been invited to take part in London Pacific Fashion Week. Amber Bridgman will be joined by two of her sons at a promotional shoot for the event later this month, before returning for the main event in September.
Standing under Kote Tuhono, an artwork which represents a gateway to another dimension, Dunedin and Ngāi Tahu fashion designer Amber Bridgman is preparing to take her mahi across the world.
It's pretty amazing, to be honest. Working on another collection that I will take over there and hand deliver. So between the 10 collection that was sent last week and the 10 that I'm also going to be taking, there'll be 20 pieces that are showcasing on the runway there.
Bridgman has been invited to take a selection of her Indigenous designs to be part of London Pacific Fashion Week. Her 18-year-old twin boys are joining her on the overseas trip. They'll be modelling her creations and those of other designers.
I'm taking our opi over there. My two beautiful now adult children, Nukuroa and Te Kahurangi, are also invited as models to be not only modelling for myself but also for the other designers over there.
She says it's difficult to describe her work in one blurb, but says all her clothing reflects and pays homage to her Ngāi Tahu iwi.
Our mahi kakai, our traditional harvesting, and just things that inspire me.
Bridgman and her whānau will showcase designs from the Kahuwai clothing line at a launch on the rooftop of New Zealand House, along with walking the runways of London Pacific Fashion Week. The trio jet off from the Otipoti winter to the UK summer later this month. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Whai Yakane, still to come on the South Today. We catch up with a Riversdale Local putting the new Bowel Cancer Awareness Month slogan, "Move Your Butt," into action. And art classes in Central Otago seem to be helping people's mental health.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
Every day the team at Gillian supports grieving families at their time of need, from answering your questions to organising a farewell that reflects the wishes of your loved one. We can help. Call Gillian's today.
proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Hi, we're Age Concern Otago.
Age Concern Otago hosts a multitude of social activities, including indoor walks.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
He fakes slam dunk!
It's My Mate John's Slam Dunk Deals. Check it out. 22% off lounge suites, 35% off king beds, 21% off bedsides, wardrobes and dressers, 24% off TV units and buffets, 28% off dining and 29% off armchairs. Plus loads more in store. Slam Dunk Deals.
Where did you get that furniture from? Stafford Street. And My Mate John.
Living Well Disability Resource Centre, a not-for-profit charitable organisation and your one-stop shop for information and resources to help you retain independence. We offer a wide range of assistive products from jar openers to mobility scooters and provide assessments for Total Mobility, the half-price taxi scheme. Come and see the friendly team. You'll find us on the corner of George and Bath Streets, ground floor of Burns House.
Tēnā, welcome back. The start of a new era for business events got underway today at Christchurch's Te Pai Convention Centre. Meetings 2022 is the country's only national business trade show and has returned to the city after a 14-year break.
The show floor inside was buzzing with activity as delegates from across Australasia got down to business. Meetings is New Zealand's only national trade show for business events. Delegates relished the chance to meet people face to face. The show was a good chance to make new contacts and rebuild. Organised by business events industry Aotearoa, the two-day show has attracted 650 delegates, including more than 100 from Australia. More than 200 exhibitors from 18 regions across New Zealand are showcasing their products and services. It's the first major international event to be hosted by Christchurch's brand new convention centre, Te Pai. Another 100 events are scheduled for the rest of the year, injecting an estimated $37 million into the local economy. The public will get their chance to tour through the purpose-built facility during an open day in mid-July. In Christchurch, the South Today.
June is Bowel Cancer Awareness Month, with the campaign slogan this year of Move Your Butt. It's an encouragement a Riversdale woman is taking to heart. Steph Rossiter lost her mother to bowel cancer last year and is now walking more than 100 kilometres over the month to raise money and awareness.
Walking far in the hope of saving lives lost to bowel cancer. Steph Rossiter is aiming to walk more than 100 kilometres over June, the equivalent distance from her hometown all the way to Riverton on the south coast.
My plan is to do about 4 kilometres every day. We get up, get ready for school, and we walk Sam to school with Ellie in the pram, and then Ellie and I continue on for about another 40 minutes while she has a wee nap in the pram and then head home for the day.
She's doing the daily treks as part of Bowel Cancer NZ's campaign Move Your Butt, which is aimed at raising funds and awareness for the fight against bowel cancer. It's the second highest cause of cancer death in New Zealand, and it's a personal cause for Rossiter, whose mother died from the disease last year, aged just 61. Rossiter hopes her daily walks will help make a difference.
I hope to make people aware of the symptoms of bowel cancer and ways that they can reduce their chances of catching bowel cancer.
Symptoms can include bleeding from the bottom, changes in bowel motions, anemia, abdominal pain, tiredness and sudden weight loss. Eating less processed food and exercising regularly are two recommended ways for people to reduce their risk of getting bowel cancer. And Rossiter is encouraging others to adopt the message of the campaign and move their butt.
I think walking's great, for many reasons. For health and mental, it's just a great start to the day.
Rossiter is on target to have walked 115 kilometres by the end of this month and has so far raised about $2,500 for Bowel Cancer NZ. Near Gore, The South Today.
A range of initiatives are underway in central Otago to help people who are feeling isolated or experiencing mental health challenges. One program is a series of weekly art classes being held in Wanaka, Cromwell and Alexandra.
In a recent survey by the Queenstown Lakes District Council, a third of respondents said feelings of shame and fear can be a barrier to accessing mental health services. Now, a number of local businesses and community initiatives are working to try and help overcome the stigma of battling mental health issues. One program is a special art class targeted at people who might be struggling with their mental well-being or just feeling isolated.
We do a different creative activity every week, from postcards to pottery, collaging, watercolour, pretty much anything.
And there's certainly a need. The Central Otago Creative Wellbeing program is already nearly booked out in Wanaka, although there's still spaces available in other towns.
It's been really, really busy, and in Cromwell and Alex, we've had a lot of interest as well, but we still have quite a bit of room in both of those groups.
The art classes are held on Tuesday afternoons in Wanaka, Wednesday afternoons in Cromwell and Thursdays in Alexandra. In Central Otago, The South Today.
Whaiakane. After the break on The South Today, some Southland residents are wanting the flights in and out of the airport ramped up to pre-COVID numbers again, and we'll take a look at the weather ahead of the weekend.
Drop when you.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell menswear, it fits.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Come on, mate. The blue doesn't go with the brown.
He fakes slam dunk! It's My Mate John's Slam Dunk Deals. Check it out. Slam Dunk Deals. Only at John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street and online.
And My Mate John.
Tēnā koe, welcome back. Some Invercargill business travellers are urging Air New Zealand to reinstate its pre-COVID-19 schedule for flights between Auckland and the southern city. In mid-2019, the first passengers on a direct jet flight from Auckland were welcomed to Invercargill. The scheduling saw a direct flight leave the south early in the morning, returning again late evening. However, schedules were changed during COVID disruption, with the 5-day-a-week flight landing in Invercargill shortly after noon and departing for Auckland about 1 p.m. Some regular business commuters say the new times don't work well for them. Air New Zealand says the current schedule is designed to best utilise their jet fleet across the country as the airline gradually builds back domestic and international services. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. The Prime Minister was forced to take a back entrance during the opening of a new high school in Christchurch due to a large gathering of protesters. Dunedin firefighters are joining their colleagues around the country in taking industrial action this month to campaign for better pay and safer working conditions. And Ngāi Tahu fashion designer Amber Bridgman is taking her Indigenous fashion to the world. She'll be joined by 2 of her sons at London Pacific Fashion Week later this year. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, and we welcome the Deputy Editor, Craig Page. Kia ora, Craig.
Good evening.
What can we expect in the paper tomorrow, Craig?
It's all about budget blowouts. I guess we shouldn't be surprised when it comes to government projects, but the West Harbour cycle to Port Chalmers cycleway is now $17 million over budget. It's going to cost $43 million to complete now. It's been a bit of a drawn-out project. A story out of Wellington revealed that Waka Kotahi's cycleway programs nationally is facing about a 10% increase in budget. It's jumped to almost 670 million now.
Wow. Okay.
So a lot of money going on. I mean, they've committed on a big way towards cycleways, and yeah, I guess the one for Port Chalmers, the final stage has been pretty complex for them. They do a lot of pile driving as well, and working with New Zealand rail infrastructure, bit of reclamation of land, and also some heritage seawalls they've had to deal with. So it has been expensive, but it is an impressive looking cycleway and a great asset for the city. So,
yeah, it's taking wonderful shape.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So good opportunity to get out and use it once the weather warms up.
Yes.
We've got a lovely story on Otago Uni student Anna Clark. Just received a Fulbright Science and Innovation Award. She's going to be heading to New York to study. Anna, she was involved in a serious accident in 2018. She was knocked off a bicycle while heading to a university lecture. Got a serious head injury at the time, and she was wondering whether she's going to be able to continue studying as well. So really great recovery from her, and she's doing amazing things. So we wish her all the best. Exactly. Our arts pages, we catch up with Dunedin dancer and filmmaker Daniel Belton. His new film's going to debut on a massive outdoor projection in Christchurch as part of Matariki celebrations next week. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. And just finally with sport, sad day for the All Whites, of course, missing out on their big chance to go to the Football World Cup. Yeah, full wrap of that match, and obviously a bit of ill feeling towards the referee. We shouldn't bag referees, but there was a bit of criticism of the way he handled the game as well. So yeah, we'll have full wrap on that for tomorrow.
Okay, I'll look forward to reading that. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
And now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Looking at the situation, cold southwesterly airflow tomorrow will ease and die out on Friday as the ridge of high pressure develops over southern districts, making way for a cold southerly airflow at the weekend. Heading to the top of the South Island first. Fine with 14 and southwesterlies tomorrow in Nelson. Greymouth is getting rain and light winds with 12 degrees, while Christchurch starts with a frost and then a clear day before a later southerly change with showers and 15 degrees. To our southern towns now. Showers and sou'westerlies tomorrow with Balclutha, the Catlins and Lumsden reaching 9 degrees. Gores just behind with a high of 8. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes area. Cloudy with westerlies right through the middle here. Loving the consecutive numbers. 11 for Alexandra, 10 for Wanaka, Queenstown gets 9 and 8 for Te Anau with a few showers. To the northern towns next. Well, quite a bit of high cloud with nor'westerlies to keep things fresh. Timaru heads for 14, Owamadu 13 degrees. Over to Twizel and Omarama, it looks like it'll be cloudy with gusty westerlies and highs of 10 or 11. Down to Dunedin. The winds should ease up as it drops to 5 degrees tonight. Tomorrow brings high cloud, showers and changing winds. Expect a high of 11 and a low of 6. And then Friday, it'll be a slow start to the morning with low cloud before opening up to a clear day with light winds up to 9 and right down to 1 degree. And now to Invercargill. Rain tonight with westerly winds dropping down to 5 degrees. Thursday starts showery before a clear day with cold sou'westerlies, a high of 9 and breaking even with a low of 0. Friday morning looks misty with frosts before a clear day with light winds, a high of 11 and then down to a chilly -1 overnight to start the weekend. That's the news this Wednesday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. Nō reira, kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.